Okay, it's Wednesday and I forget the date. I'll put it up in the blurb. It's the early morning and this morning I sold 2 bundles of 8-foot pea sticks. Yay! Which is my first pea stick sale this year. But I'm a bit late, so you may not get any more. But anyway, I thought I'd walk into the wood because it rained. It stopped raining about half an hour ago. You might be able to see all the standing water by the barn down there, which means that although the bottom track is perfectly doable for tractors and 4-wheel drive vehicles, not a cat in hell's chance for my old van. So I brought in a roll of 10X last night after work when it was actually dry, just before it rained again, and left it in here. Now I'm walking it through. This is the area I'm going to cut next year. The following wind all being well, and the farmer still continuing to put up with me. I was walking through here, through the bluebells, some of which are now getting past their prime. You can see the corolla segments are starting to brown off. And I saw white bluebells. You most often see white bluebells and pink bluebells with a Spanish bluebell, Endymion or Hyacinthoides. I can never remember which one it is because it's changed. Hispanicum. This is Endymion or Hyacinthoides. Non-scripta, with a hyphen between non and scripta. And I'll put a link to a very nice video I found on YouTube the other day, who actually goes through the differences between Spanish bluebell and English bluebell. But these are pretty well all English bluebell, but over there's white ones. Quite often going through villages and things, people have planted Spanish bluebell, and you see it in the hedge bottoms and the base of walls and on people's verges, and you often see a white plant that looks a little bit like this, but that's 3-cornered garlic, a thing called Allium triquetrum. And this here is a native bluebell that is white, and you do get pink ones as well. And you see it is white, corolla segments, and even these bracts, which are blue on the standard bluebell, and they're actually white or even slightly green on these ones. And this is a naturally occurring sport. It's perfectly viable, but I think it's determined by recessive genes, and being expressed like this is pretty rare. I think I was told years ago it was about 1 in every 1,500, or is it 15,000, and similar sort of occurrence for the pink version. But beware, you do get hybridisation between English bluebell and Spanish bluebell. Pollen tends not to go very far, but it does get taken around by insects, notably bees. And if someone, for instance, comes into the wood or onto the edge of the wood, say that was the road down there with traffic and such, and they chucked out a load of garden refuse, and in it was some Spanish bluebells, when they rooted and started to grow, there was a distinct possibility of hybridisation between the Spanish bluebell and the English bluebell. You might say that doesn't matter. I'm convinced that it does matter, but we won't go into that here. And I've just seen another sport over there. Another weird bluebell. Now this one I posted about the other day. There was a very striking one up in the wood, and you can see the bracts of this one, which are outside the corolla, which is the petals. And these bracts on this one are very, very big, and they're green, as if they're like little leaves. Some kind person did tell me what that was, and I'll dig that out and put that in the blurb. Anyway, so that's bluebells and white bluebells. No pink ones here. But this is the area I'm going to cut next year. And here we have a big old beech that looks like it came down years ago. You can tell it's a beech by the bark, and it's probably full of things like stag beetles and other wildlife. But as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be a bit of a pain in the bum, because I'm going to be working around here. I'm going to have to work out how I'm going to get my timber out. So if I cut this area here all the way to the edge, it's quite a biggish area, or if I cut from here upwards to see that bank in the distance, that's just before the cherry clone starts and the hazel starts to get a little bit younger, less than 50 years since it was last cut. But if I cut up here, up this line, and do this area, then this is right in the way. I'm going to have to work around it. Not a huge problem, but one of those little things that makes life a little more difficult. So, I'm going to stop rabbiting now, get on and do some work. But it's just started raining again, and if I stand about, I'm going to get cold. This here's the dead hedge, so I'm going to be working on the other side of that. That's the Dorset gate that I put in yesterday, which is on another post. And that's the bit I still need to do some felling to beef that up, stop the deer getting in. And that's starting to get urgent, because we're starting to get nice little nutritious and tasty sprouts on all the stalls I've cut this winter. But I didn't bring the chainsaw because I'd have to walk it in, and it's an half a mile trip. Moan, moan, rabbit, rabbit. Right, let's get on with stuff.